This is Gary Kavanagh, and you are listening to Gript's weekly review of our top stories. John McGurk wrote on the government's retrofitting scheme, saying it was the latest cap on an enormous swindle of the poorest people in Irish society. The grants given under the retrofitting scheme will be paid for by revenue raised from carbon taxes and other regressive climate levies. This system, according to John, will lead to increased fuel poverty for the poorest and cheaper energy for the richest. Gript fact-checked claims made in the Irish media that the Irish Men's Rosary had deliberately tried to disrupt a vigil held for ASHLING Murphy. Rosa, a socialist feminist group, had said the group were threatening and intimidating women at the vigil. Unfortunately for Rosa, our investigation of the matter didn't end up supporting their claims. Interestingly, while the Irish Examiner had said they reached out to the Men's Rosary before publishing a story based on Rosa's claims, the Men's Rosary said that they had received no attempt to reach out to them from the Examiner. John McGurk finally manages to get two stories into the weekly review, with a story on the violent attack on Thomas NILAND, a 73-year-old man who lives in Sligo. John argued that the assault on Mr. NILAND should serve as a reminder of the vulnerability of the elderly living alone in rural properties, and remind us of the need to beef up rural policing to protect people from the sort of violent criminals who would attack them in their homes. He also suggested that it might be a good idea to reform sentencing so violent offenders actually get sent to prison. Minister Helen McEntee has confirmed that there are no limits on how many illegal immigrants will be able to apply for the government's new amnesty, confirming Gript's reporting on this matter from August of last year. The minister said that the department had prepared itself for greater demand on the scheme than anticipated, and that the programme for government made no mention of the scheme being limited in any way. If you've been reading Gript's coverage of the amnesty, you'll have known all of this already, but it was nice to see the minister say we were correct. Matt Tracy wrote on the government's inability to tell if criminals who have been ordered to deport themselves from this country have actually left Ireland because we allow these people to self-deport rather than having the police put them on a plane. The Minister for Justice recently told Deputy Carol Nolan that often people leave the country without telling anyone, and so the Department of Justice cannot always ascertain whether or not a deportation order has been complied with. Matt, because he's a deeply untrusting fellow, argued that perhaps it might be good if Ireland had the ability to tell whether violent criminals were still in the country.